Welcome to the Explainer. All right, let's get right into it because today we are breaking down a release that's got the entire AI community buzzing, GLM-4.5. It's a new open source model and believe me, it is making some serious waves.
You know, if you're an AI/ML professional, this question is probably something you think about all the time. For years, it's been a story of dominance by the big closed-source models. They've really set the pace for the whole field. But that whole landscape might just be about to change in a big way.
And this quote from the GLM 4.5 paper just hits the nail on the head. The researchers over at Zhipu AI and Tsinghua University, they saw this huge gap in the open source world. You had models that were good at one thing, maybe two, but a single model that could really master agentic abilities, complex reasoning, and advanced coding? That's been the holy grail, and it's been just out of reach.
So, let's meet the new contender that's been built specifically to bridge that gap. Let's talk about the GLM 4.5 series.
So the team actually released two versions, and both are built on that mixture of experts, or MOE, architecture. You've got the flagship GLM 4.5, which is a beast at 355 billion parameters. But, and this is key, it only activates 32 billion for any given task. Then there's the more compact version, GLM 4.5 Air, coming in at 106 billion total parameters. This is smart, right? It gives developers options for both raw power and more efficient deployment scenarios.
Their whole philosophy, their game plan, is built around what they call the ARC framework. It's a unified strategy, laser-focused on creating a true general problem solver. And they do that by trying to master these three things that are all deeply connected: agentic abilities, complex reasoning, and advanced coding. So this isn't about being kinda good at a few things, it's about shooting for excellence across the entire board.
Okay, so for all of you out there who actually build and train these models, you know the how is just as fascinating as the what. And the team behind GLM 4.5 put together this really incredible training playbook to engineer this generalist from the ground up.
It all kicks off with this massive multi-stage training pipeline you're looking at here. And this wasn't just a, throw a ton of data at the model and hope for the best kind of deal. No, they started with a very broad pre-training phase and then very deliberately specialized its skills through these carefully designed follow-up stages. Get this, they trained the model on a whopping 23 trillion tokens in total. So after that first 15 trillion token pre-training, they shifted into what they call a mid-training phase. And this is where they got really specific, feeding it over 7 trillion tokens of super high-quality specialized data. We're talking repo-level code, synthetic reasoning chains, agent tasks, and critically, during this phase, they jacked up the context window from 4K all the way to 128K. That's a huge step for enabling those really advanced reasoning and agent skills.
Now here's a technical headache I'm sure every agent developer has run into: function calls. They're absolutely essential, but when you have parameters that include chunks of code, formatting them in JSON means you have to escape all these characters, and that adds a huge, unnecessary learning burden on the model.
And their solution is, well, it's just so clever. Instead of sticking with JSON, they came up with this new function called template that uses XML-style tags. It's a simple change, but it almost completely gets rid of the need for character escaping. The code can just be passed as is. It's a really elegant fix that makes a core feature so much better.
And the innovation doesn't stop there. The post-training is powered by this super sophisticated reinforcement learning setup they've open-sourced called Slime. It's engineered with this decoupled asynchronous architecture, which makes it incredibly flexible and efficient. It can handle the very different demands of standard RL training and those really complex, long-horizon agent tasks all within one system. So, after all that brilliant engineering, the million-dollar question is, did it actually work? Let's dive into the performance numbers and check out the scorecard. Okay, so across a really comprehensive evaluation, we're talking 12 different benchmarks covering their whole ARC framework. GLM 4.5 lands in an incredible third place overall. It's sitting right there behind proprietary giants like OpenAI's O3 and Claude Opus 4. This firmly plants it in the absolute top tier of all models, whether they're open or closed source. But here's the real kicker. It's efficiency.
Take a look at this chart for SwiBench. This is a notoriously tough real-world coding benchmark. And GLM 4.5 is sitting right on the Pareto frontier. That means it is delivering the best possible performance for its size. It's not just strong, it's smart. It's punching way above its weight class.
And this quote just hammers that point home. It's hitting these top-tier performance numbers while having roughly half the parameters of other big open-source models like DeepSeek R1. For anyone out there looking to actually deploy these things or do research, that performance per parameter metric is just a massive, massive deal. Okay, let's drill down a bit. Let's start with agentic abilities. If you're building agents, you're going to want to pay close attention here. On these tasks, GLM 4.5 ranks second overall, right behind OpenAI's O3. It's practically neck and neck with Claude Sonnet 4 on TauBench, and then it just blows past it on BrowseComp, which is a really complex web browsing benchmark.
The model's coding chops are just as strong. I mean, it is a top competitor. It easily outperforms models like GPT 4.1 and Gemini 2.5 Pro on that tough SWE bench. And on Terminal Bench, it even nudges past Claude Sonnet 4. This isn't just a chatbot that can write a little code, it's a legitimate coding powerhouse.
Automated benchmarks are one thing, right? But how does it hold up in the real world? Well, in a head-to-head human evaluation on actual coding agent tasks, GLM 4.5 proves it's an extremely strong competitor to the very well-respected Claude Sonnet 4. It's winning over 40% of the matchups. This just shows its skills directly translate to hands-on, practical use.
So, let's pull all of this together. What is the final takeaway? What does the release of GLM 4.5 really mean for you and for the whole AI/ML community?
Here's what you really need to take away. GLM 4.5 isn't just another model dropping. It's a true open-source powerhouse that can stand toe-to-toe with the very best proprietary systems. It successfully delivers on that Arc generalist promise. It showcases some really incredible innovation in training and RL, and it does all of this with amazing parameter efficiency. And maybe the most important part, it's all out there. The models, the code, the evaluation tools, it's all available for the community to use and to build upon.
Look, this release doesn't just raise the bar for open-source AI, it pushes the entire field forward. It really changes the conversation about what's possible, and it leaves us with this really exciting question. Now that the gap between open and closed models is shrinking so fast, where do we go from here? What is the next great challenge for AI? And that, right there, is what makes this such an amazing time to be in this field. Thanks for joining this Explainer.